When I first started investing in mobile home parks, I was flipping homes in Florida and I was burnt out on the grind that business involves. And I was really looking for a way to get some passive income. So I went out and bought a mobile home park. I'm going to give you the play-by-play on how I went out and bought my first mobile home park and how I literally sold it for 10 times what I paid for it. The year was 2013. I was burnt out on flipping homes and I was looking for apartments to buy because I saw the passive income potential, the scale, and the potential wealth that I could build from them. A commercial banker friend of mine called me one day and he said, "I've got what looks to be a good deal here and I think you should take a look at it. I know you're looking at apartments. This is a mobile home park, which is kind of like apartments." Here's what the deal looked like. It was a 57 space park with 50 lots on it and also had a large storage building on it. All the homes were owned by the tenants and the lot was about $500 at the time. The utilities were city water and sewer, and it also had dumpsters for trash service. Now get this, the water and the sewer were both being paid for by the community and the bills were very high. The property was in really severe disrepair and the county wanted it closed. There were over $1 million worth of code enforcement liens on the property at the time, and it was because they had unpermitted structures, trash, and all kinds of other code violations. This was a huge problem. Other people were chasing this deal and trying to buy it as a short sale, but they couldn't get around the code enforcement liens. Now get this, we weren't buying the property directly. We went to buy the mortgage from the bank, and that property was just the collateral of the mortgage. This was a very complicated transaction and there was a lot of risk involved. But because we had experience investing in non-performing loans from when we were buying single-family homes, we were confident we could take this deal down. The first thing we did is we got the financials from the bank so we could see exactly what the property was doing. The best part about this deal is that the bank had been awarded receivership by the court, which meant that all the financials were certified to be accurate. Without this, we could have been buying something that produced no income and we wouldn't have known about it until after we bought it. The next thing we did is we started our negotiations with the bank to see what we could buy it for. At the same time that we were negotiating with the bank, we went to the county to talk to them about their code enforcement liens against the property. We really needed to see what they were going to say and if we could work with them or not. The good news is they were willing to work with us if we cleaned the property up. After a lot of discussions and negotiations with the county, we came to terms. From there, we went to the bank and we executed the contract and then started our due diligence on the deal. The tricky part about this deal is because we weren't buying the property from the owner, we couldn't talk to him about the property. He'd owned it for years and we couldn't ask him anything. When we closed on the purchase, we still didn't own the property. We only owned the mortgage. The next thing we had to do was take the property through foreclosure to wipe out all the liens, and then we'd have title to the property free and clear. As soon as we took control of the property, we jumped in and we started making as many improvements as possible so the residents would see that change was coming. Some of the improvements that we made at the property were landscaping, road repair, we put in guest parking spots, we did miscellaneous electrical repairs, we put in new mailboxes, we did plumbing work, we demoed some bad homes, we brought in some used homes, and we painted the warehouse building that we had on the property. At this point, the residents saw that we were making investments in the property, and we encouraged them to start showing some pride of ownership in their homes as well. The next thing we did was we built back the water and sewer so that the tenants were now responsible for their own usage. To stop outsiders from coming in and dumping around our dumpster, we switched over to carts, which then gave each resident control over their own trash, and it made the property look a lot nicer. After making a lot of improvements at the property, we started raising rent up to market. We started at $500 and we ended at about $625 a month. In a little over a year, we were able to refinance the property and pull out all of our initial investment in the deal. Now get this, in 2019, a really large investment company came along and offered us a really high price for the property. So high, we just couldn't turn it down. We bought the property with a basis of about $650,000. In just a few years, we sold it for $6.5 million. That's 10x what we paid. So what are some things that I learned from this deal? So before I tell you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't miss out on a lot of real life, tried and tested real estate investing content. Hit the subscribe button, it's free. All right, so here's my takeaways. If everyone's trying to look at something a certain way, try and see if there's another way to look at it. Everyone was trying to buy the property as a short sale, but because we were able to go about it from a different angle, we got the deal when nobody else could. Recognize that the biggest and ugliest problems, like the liens, can often be solved if you attack them head on. We weren't afraid to approach the county and create what would be considered a friendly foreclosure on their liens to make sure that after we had wiped them out, they wouldn't go back and put them back on the property. Another takeaway is that there's money in complexity. Outside the box means that a lot of people don't really know how to handle it, and that removes a lot of competition. The complexity in this deal was we knew how to buy a mortgage and take back the property through foreclosure when everybody else didn't. In this and many other deals, a lesson I've learned is to stick to your word. Because we did what we said we were gonna do, we built trust with the county and created a great working relationship with them. When you're negotiating, look at what other stakeholders want, and then try and work their interests into your plan to get their support. In this deal, the county wanted this property cleaned up badly. So the first thing that we did after taking over was all the visual items at the front of the property that the county employees would see every time they drove past the property. All in all, this was an awesome deal, and we were super blessed to have this be our first mobile home park investment. Check out this video right here on how you can 10x the value of a mobile home park.